Welcome to Campaholics.
I'm Christy.
I'm Mandy.
And I'd rather be camping.
Ooh.
We're back again for some more spooky stories.
Okay. Whoa, spooky.
So, Mandy, we know that you absolutely love national parks.
I do.
But I hear there's a ton of creepy shit that
Yeah.
happens at national parks.
Yeah, it's kind of getting creepier now that I'm doing more research. I'm like, ooh, do I really like national parks that much?
You're like, do I want to go anymore?
Well, and I know you and I have talked about, because I'm pretty sure we've both seen all those missing 411 episodes.
Yeah, yes.
Guys, I think it's on like Netflix or Prime or something, but there's these 411 shows that are actually based off of a book of, I think the guy used to be an investigator of national park crimes. And there's some different like scenarios. Some are national parks, some aren't, but there is one specific for national park, and it talks about these people and kids that go missing on these stories, like these trips they're on, and all of a sudden, like, there's no trace.
I know. I was watching one like that too. Or it's like, I know there's that show you just mentioned, Missing 411, and there's another one very similar called Vanished.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's like they just disappear. There's literally no clothes, no notes, no sign, nothing.
And this, just so you guys know, this is a different Leave No Trace than the episode we previously put out on Leave No Trace. That's a good no trace you want to leave. But when we're snatching people and bodies are disappearing, this is a creepy no trace.
This is a creepy version of that for sure.
There should be no trace because there shouldn't be a thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, like even in one of these 411 shows, if I remember right, the story was like this family stayed at this lodge and they were going to go on this hike, and like the kid fell behind a little bit, and all of a sudden they look back and he's like gone, like just gone. They thought mountain lion. Right. There were suspicious things of that, but then they couldn't find anything that actually led to a mountain lion. Like there would be evidence if it was an animal. Yeah. And it wasn't. But then they found like just his clothes and his shoes. And we're like, a mountain lion doesn't do that.
No.
Okay, things are shredded. Things are not put together. So
well, yeah, wasn't it like folded?
Yes,
like
it was
clothes
creepy.
Folded. Like, yeah, no lion is folding the fucking laundry.
Oh my goodness. So I mean, seriously, this is again why just stay on the path and stay together.
Keep your kids where you can see them.
Now I'm thinking, you know how sometimes you see those weird people put their kids on leashes, and I'm like,
maybe they're onto something.
I'm like, okay, I don't know, but yeah, that's scary.
That is scary. Well, I was reading a bunch of different stories in preparation for this episode, and there's just so many to choose from. For one, but there was two that really stuck out in my mind, and one was about this guy, and he was solo camping, so just him, and he was backpacking, so he was out there for several days, like quite literally in the middle of nowhere.
Homeless Henry?
Basically. And he said he came out of his tent one morning, and someone had made tea.
What?
And like
Bear Grylls?
Drank half of the tea, and then just like left.
Okay.
I was like, how creepy.
That is weird.
I don't know.
That is so weird.
And then there's this other one where they talk about like these kids that went missing, kind of similar to that one, where like either they found nothing or it was just like folded clothes.
Right.
Well, then they find a severed arm, like from the elbow down in this meadow, and they trace it back. It turned out to be like some woman, and she ended up being like a cult leader.
Oh dear.
Who was like kidnapping kids
in the national park.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is scary stuff.
I know. And then someone murdered her, and they still don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, and I think it was based off of these 411s. I don't know if they mention it, but I read or something somewhere about how these crimes are not correctly recorded for national parks, and I'm not really sure why, if it's just because it's its own branch of like government type stuff or what, but I'm like, that's kind of creepy.
It is creepy. It's kind of like I watched a show about cruise lines and how when you're in between territories, like who's
responsible for the investigation type
exactly
thing.
And so a lot of times it gets dropped, or it's like half-ass work, or it gets handed over so many times that they don't connect the dots, and then like nothing ever happened.
Oh man, that's ridiculous. But that kind of leads me to this. So again, in preparation for this episode, I found there's another podcast that we might have to start listening to.
Okay.
npadpodcast.com, National Park After Dark.
Ooh.
Okay, so similar to ladies like us are just reporting basically on national park crimes and creepy stuff.
Oh, I love this.
So Hannah and I started listening to one of them, and this particular mystery happened in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park.
There's a ton of them out there.
Yeah, and so what we were learning is like this is actually one of the most visited national parks out there, and I didn't even know that, but it's based in Tennessee, and this happened in 1969, and it's called like the Dennis Martin case. So to sum it up, basically it was like Father's Day, boys' weekend type thing. The dad, the grandpa, the two boys decided to go on this hiking trip in the national park. And they get to a location and they kind of like make that base camp, and they run into like another father and kid or two or something. So, you know, they meet up, the kids are playing, whatnot. Well, the kids are playing at one point, and the story was the kids like conspired to scare the dads. And so they were going to break off and like kind of go around them and be like, oh, whatever, come out of the woods and freak them out. So 3 of the boys went one way, and the 6-year-old boy, Dennis, went the other way.
Oh, no.
3 boys showed up, scared him, reacted, and Dennis never showed up.
Oh, my God.
And so immediately the father was like, we need to start searching for him. Within an hour, they had like park rangers there searching. Anyways, he just like vanished.
Oh, my God.
So this turned into like a whole thing where because of how like, I guess the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is, it sits like, I think in a couple states, but covers lots of territory.
Yeah.
I can't remember how big this park is, but at one point they had like 1,400 people looking for this kid. It was recorded as the largest like manhunt in this park ever.
Wow.
So they had like special ops forces, fire departments, rangers, like highway patrol, like tons of people. But I haven't finished the episode yet. But so far what I conclude is like they've ruled out animals, because they even brought in like search dogs, and like they would pick up on scents and stuff. But after he went missing, there was a huge storm, so of course that wiped out scents.
Oh no.
They just can't. I mean, they searched like a 52 square mile thing, and I'm like, a 6-year-old cannot walk that.
No,
they can. And I don't know about you, but like I would just stay put. I would scream. I would do something. So it is very spooky what happened, or we don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to follow up and finish this episode. But but I'm just like, this is crazy. So that's just one situation in the national park.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So then I was also looking up. So there's this, there's this Shake Guide website, and they talk about how the Mammoth Cave National Park, I guess, is the most haunted national park.
What?
I can't remember how many like cases they've counted. It was like 400 or something. But so there's, I guess, 400 miles of underground tunnels at
creepy.
This. And I didn't even know that. I'm like, I haven't been here, so I don't know. But back in the 1900s, there was this legend story of this guy passing by, and there's a lady walking on the road, this girl, and he picks her up. And she was like, yeah, I just need to get to my home or something. And he drops her off. And then he keeps going. And then he can't just get her off her mind. So, like, the next day he goes back to the location he dropped her off just to check up, make sure everything's fine.
Right.
The mom, I guess, answers the door. And she's like, I guess her name was Lucy. He's like, I dropped Lucy off yesterday at this location. And the mom's like, Lucy's been dead for, like, several years.
What?
He was like, what? So I'm like, that's a creepy story.
That
but what
so
the heck?
crazy.
I'm like, if that happened to me, I'd be like, I'm either going insane or something seriously spooky is going on.
Yeah, I mean, how do you process that? Like,
I don't know. You never go back.
No.
I mean, it makes me think of that one incident with the knocking on the trailer.
God, yeah.
Man, I'm just like, what is in these woods?
That's so crazy.
I know. And not just national park. Like, I know we were focusing on that, but who's the guy that went up north in Arizona and he murdered his family, his wife, and they've never found him.
They found like the Jeep, like in the forest. I know. They never found any trace of him. They're like the best assumption they could come up with is that there's a ton of cave systems in that he went down into the caves and either one of two things happened. He died down there, or he hid, reemerged, and like reinvented himself as somebody else. And either way, creepy.
I think about that because like growing up and camping in Arizona, I'm like, there's somebody out here that's a murderer. This is freaky.
I know,
man.
Well, I think about that a lot. Like you think about, a lot of these campsites or places to go camping. There's like these little rural towns, and most people who live in rural little towns are hiding from something or somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I mean, guys, when you watch those 2020 episodes, it's always this cute, quaint, small town. I mean, like, I'm always like, I want to live there. And then I'm like, whoa, not if that happens.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you think about how much is really happening in the big city that we just don't hear about because it's so much. So, I mean, really, you got to weigh your options.
This is true.
But yeah, I mean, there's also like scary encounters with animals too. Yeah. So there is that one incident. I think it was at Ponderosa Campground up north where, I mean, that's a campground where there's several campers at one point. But I remember hearing the story when I was younger about this bear came into camp and the guy and his family was in the tent and the bear came through the tent and totally like attacked them. I'm just like, okay, guys, there really are animals up here, even though you may not see them often. They're there.
I know. That is kind of the scary part is like you kind of get complacent, right?
Yes, you do. I know when we're camping and we're sitting around the campfire at night and typically you can hear the coyotes in a distance. Yeah. But there's been a few times I'm like, these things are close. I'm like, what did they find and are they looking for me?
Serious. Well, you and Brian just got back from Montana a couple weeks ago and there were supposed to be a ton of bears up there. Did you?
Right. So we were warned like, hey guys, we've seen wolves and bears on our game camera where you're staying. Just be aware. And we're like, all right, we took the measures. We got the bear spray
But you didn't have to use it?
We didn't have to use it, but every time I was outside, I was like looking for that bear.
Oh my God.
I was actually just telling Hannah, we went on a hike this morning and we stopped and we're like, oh, I want to see a mountain lion. I want to see that. And I'm like, that's how I was in Montana. I was like looking up the mountain like, where's that bear? Where are those wolves? I just waiting for them. It's like part of me wants to see it, but then part of me is like, I know what that means. If I see it, I know. I better have my running shoes on.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, there was a time we were camping too, and we had Ranger with us. And she like kept walking out, like smelling with her little sniffer, like looking and sniffing, and I'm just like, what does she smell? And then all of a sudden, like we got this whiff of like. It was almost like this musky smell. And come to find out, that's like usually a sign that there's a bear close by.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we were pretty sure there was something out there, but we think with just all the noise we were making, whatever, we probably kept it at a distance. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of freaky.
That is freaky.
It's like the suspense though. I don't know if it like drives me to camping or drives me from camping.
It's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. But I mean, when I go to a national park, I generally feel safe because there's people around.
I mean, like there's rangers. It's usually pretty populated. So it's kind of crazy that some of this stuff happens. And most of those stories, it's like broad daylight.
I know.
Which is still weird because it's like you kind of let your guard down during the day because to your point, it's like if you can see it coming, you'll be fine. But Apparently not.
I know. What was that recent story, too, of that boyfriend and girlfriend that drove off and they went to that national park? Do you remember something about that?
Yes.
It was really, really weird. Like, people had cited them. They were in an argument.
Didn't he end up killing her?
Yeah. And I think it was done in the national park. It's almost like, are people like, I can get away with it because it's in the national park?
I don't know. They can make it look like an accident or something.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I was looking up a bunch of stuff in there's like a ton of cold cases with national parks, like these missing people where there's no trace, right? So like to your point, from the 60s, the 70s, there's tons of these, like just cold cases.
It's wild. I wonder if it has to do with like the resources aren't like super supported.
It's gotta be
in that territory or whatever.
It's gotta be.
Or it's just hard terrain to navigate.
I'm sure there's, I mean that too, but I don't know. You would just think, especially when you talk about like how many people come out to do a search and rescue party, like how are you not finding them?
Yeah.
So then we start talking about like the sci-fi element to this. Like, was it an alien? Was he Bigfoot?
Hello. He could be sneaky.
And maybe Bigfoot's not so scary. Maybe we're afraid of him, but really he's just like he's just
a
lonely.
Sandwich.
Yeah, he's just like, come hang out with me at my camp.
Right? I just want some friends. Maybe it was Bigfoot knocking on my trailer. I mean, I don't know.
Do you have sugar?
Do you have sugar? I'm baking a cake for somebody. For my little wee Bigfoot.
Baby sass.
Big inch. We'll soon grow into Bigfoot one day.
Oh my God. But yeah, sorry. So going back to the missing people, there's so many open cases, but so the majority of these, there's the Great Smoky Mountains, like you mentioned. Yellowstone was a big one. And then the other one is the Grand Canyon.
Oh dear.
There was like, I think here in Arizona, the Grand Canyon Park has the most missing people.
That's crazy.
And I hate to say it, but these people aren't missing. They fell.
That's what I'm thinking.
And washed down the Colorado River.
They were trying to take that selfie picture, and they just lost they lost their step. I mean, I've been to the Grand Canyon. There are many, many ledges that. Yeah. I mean, it's cool to get the picture, but just stay on the path. But still, that is freaky.
Yeah, so it's like, or, I wonder too, like, how many of these people really just ran away? Because if I were going to run away, I would be like, I'm going on a trip, you guys, and then never come back.
I know. Or just, they get lost. The whole, like you said, the guy camping by himself, that's just not that safe. Like, I tell Hannah, I'm like, please go with someone or
for a lot of reasons.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Even when we go camping, like as a family or whatever, I usually let somebody know, like, this is where we're going to be. This is how long we're going to be gone. Yeah. We're not going to have service. Don't freak out.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
unless it's a waffle maker.
Unless it's a waffle maker. Yeah, but it kind of makes me want to become an investigator.
I know. Me too.
Is it too late to start over?
I know. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we could find these people. Let's go look.
Right? I mean, a lot of times people that solve these cases are just curious to help and it happens, but I don't know.
Also, when you talk about the stories of the Great Smoky Mountains, like I just think of that movie Deliverance.
Yeah, I know. Well, they even said like during that investigation, they had like a caller call in and say, you guys shouldn't be checking the ground. You should be checking the tops of the trees or something like that.
Oh,
and I'm like,
gosh.
Is it just people like not all there and they want to just, I don't know, like that's throw people off or they don't know what they're talking about? Or is it really legit some type of clue?
Why would he be up in the tree?
I don't know.
Creepy.
Just be careful when you're out there camping. We love camping, but safety third.
Safety third. Yeah, where the whistles and the bells and the GPS trackers. And
sometimes the whistles work.
Sometimes. Or walkie-talkies are a great
walkie-talkies. I 100% support walkie-talkies.
At this point, I'm ready to just tie strings to each other.
I
so,
know.
like, if someone goes, like, you're going to know.
Yeah. The walkie-talkies came in handy last trip when your son and his friend had one. And we were playing games. We were like, all right, I can some kind of, see you through this walkie-talkie. So go have fun. We're gonna have fun here.
Perfect.
It was a good connection.
It was.
Well, awesome. Well, if you guys have any national park creepy cases that you've come across, share it with us. We'd love to hear more.
Your theories on these.
Theories, definitely. Or if you like hearing about them, we would love to do more research and bring some more up, of course.
Absolutely. So as always, like, follow, subscribe. Check us out at I'dRatherBeCampingWithAK.com.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for your next camp meeting.
Yeah, keep camping, guys. Bye.
See ya.